presentation of HBO Sports.
World Championship Boxing is back, live from a packed Madison Square Garden in New York City. It's the night before the annual Puerto Rican Day Parade, and most in attendance are here to see Miguel Cotto, the favored son of that island nation. Tonight, Cotto takes on tough Joshua Clottey. Clottey was born in Ghana, but now calls Bronx, New York his home. It's Cotto versus Clottey in a welterweight title fight, scheduled for 12 rounds. Since his devastating loss to Antonio Margarito 11 months ago, much has changed in Miguel Cotto's life. Boxing-wise, most importantly, he jettisoned his uncle and longtime trainer, Evangelista Cotto, and replaced him with virtual unknown, but Cotto camp veteran, Joe Santiago. Joshua Clottey comes off the biggest victory of his career, a 9-round technical decision over Zab Judah. Clottey appeared to cut Judah with an uppercut, but it was ruled an accidental headbutt. They went to the scorecards, and Clottey won the decision. He is here tonight to face Miguel Cotto, looking for the prominence he believes has been denied him in the loaded welterweight division. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. Welcome to magnificent Madison Square Garden for what could be a truly terrific event. It's the fourth time in 6 years that Miguel Cotto has headlined a card here in Madison Square Garden on the night before the Puerto Rican Day Parade. 2 years ago, when he hooked up with New Yorker Zab Judah, they broke the Madison Square Garden record for boxing attendance, and a similar crowd is on hand here tonight. Very shortly, we'll be hearing from HBO's World Championship Boxing expert, Emmanuel Stewart, and from our HBO boxing analyst, Max Kellerman. Right now, let's take a look at what I've already called the loaded welterweight division. Here are the three title belt holders. Shane Mosley, some regard him as the legitimate champion of the division after his destruction of Margarito earlier this year. Cotto, his only loss against Margarito, now open to question because of Margarito's suspension for trying to load his gloves against Mosley. Andre Berto is unbeaten and a rising star, has not yet faced the kind of opposition that Cotto and Mosley have been in with. And look at all the rest of the stars who do not have belts in this division. Floyd Mayweather was the welterweight champion when he retired a little more than a year ago. Juan Manuel Marquez will face Mayweather July 18 in a catchweight welterweight fight at 143. Marquez coming up from lightweight where he's the champion. Manny Pacquiao has fought in the welterweight division in his annihilation of Oscar De La Hoya, then went back down to 140, but is flirting with fighting welterweights again. Paul Williams fought his last fight at 160 pounds, but says he can still make 147 and is still looking to possibly fight against welterweight stars. And Joshua Clottey gave up a title belt rather than to fight a succession of anonymous challengers in favor of taking this fight against Cotto instead. All right, let's turn now to Max Kellerman for a word on all of that. What a division. Where does Cotto stand, and what does this fight mean to him?
Well, Jim, this latest chapter in the Miguel Cotto story begins, as you mentioned, on the eve of the Puerto Rican Day Parade in front of a packed Madison Square Garden. But this chapter is really pivotal because by the end of the night, we're going to really find out whether Cotto has been able to rebound from the beating, perhaps cheating, at the hands, perhaps loaded hands, of Antonio Margarito. Is this a triumphant story for Cotto, or is it the tragedy of Miguel Cotto? Because Joshua Clottey is likely to present moments of truth that Cotto's going to have to successfully overcome, and that's what we're here to find out tonight, Jim.
All right, as we mentioned in voiceover at the top of the show, it's been a tumultuous 11 months for Miguel Cotto since his loss to Margarito. A great deal has changed in his life, but he thinks at this moment he is a stronger and better man than ever before. A year ago, he was boxing's version of the Terminator. Cotto continues the vicious assault. A seemingly unstoppable fighting machine.
He can fight anybody on the planet.
But within the past year, Miguel Cotto has suddenly looked more human than ever before. Last July, Cotto prepared for his showdown fight with Antonio Margarito, looking to defend his perfect record and welterweight dominance. And once the bell sounded against Margarito, Cotto looked as focused as ever. Miguel Cotto looks very sharp, very quick in the early going.
Cotto is winning the fight, but he's going to have to be prepared to go 12 rounds, and that's going to be very, very difficult.
I get tired, you know, my legs get tired, my arms get tired, and he take advantage of that. Since around 6, 7, you can see all the swelling coming out of my face.
And Cotto goes to a knee. An epic fight with an epic conclusion. The first loss of Cotto's career.
It took me like 2 weeks to take out all the swelling from my face.
6 months later, the boxing world was shocked when Margarito was caught trying to use illegal hand wraps in his fight against Shane Mosley. Immediately, speculation grew. Had Margarito used those same plaster-like wraps against Cotto?
The pieces do fit pretty neatly, where all of a sudden Margarito's punches started carving up Cotto. Cotto started cowering a little bit. And you think, wow, well, that's about when he got all sweated up and the plaster turned to brick, and there you go.
Every boxer knows what your trainer, or what they put on your fist. I think he used it before, but the only people who can tell you that is him or his team.
The week after Margarito's 1-year suspension, Cotto stepped back into the ring for a comeback fight. The only visible change in the fighter was an assortment of new tattoos.
Maybe throwing some tats on gives him a sense of pride and power and kind of gets that mojo back. I don't know if really something like that actually works, but if in his head it works, then, you know, all power to him.
What wasn't working for Cotto, however, was training in Puerto Rico. 2 months ago, before the Clottey training camp began, Miguel and his father approached his uncle Evangelista about moving camp.
Él tiene muchas distracciones en Puerto Rico. Hacía ya un tiempo atrás que estaban por sacarlo de Puerto Rico a entrenar. Mi hermano no permitía que él viniera a entrenar fuera, como lo ha hecho, fuera de Puerto Rico.
We talked to him, told him we prefer to move in to here for the benefit of my career, and if he can be responsible with me, I can work with him anymore.
Their tense relationship, which through the years had deteriorated, finally exploded, and the long-simmering animosity boiled over, with the pair reportedly putting their hands on each other and Evangelista tossing a cement block through the window of his nephew's car.
We kind of avoid those situations, you know, but with good attitude, I have a better performance training, and that was happened with us in Tampa.
His camp in Tampa is now headed by Joe Santiago, a former assistant to Evangelista, now given the responsibility of training one of the world's top boxers.
Significa muchísimo, nada nos puede distraer, sabemos que tenemos una gran pelea y un gran reto y queremos salir victoriosos.
But the question lingers, was the breakup with his uncle just 9 weeks ago the right move?
Lamentablemente tengo que decir que sí. Entiendo que ya la atmósfera estaba muy cargada. Y antes que todo, seguirá siendo mi hermano. Él y yo tenemos que separar los problemas porque hermanos somos y seguiremos siendo hermanos.
If you have a really happy team, a pretty good communication between all the members of your team, you have a better attitude to work.
Miguel Cotto says he's emerged from a year of turmoil a stronger man. Tonight will show if he's ready to re-emerge as the familiar fighting machine in the ring. Back live at ringside, an extraordinary moment in our meeting with Miguel Cotto yesterday. In response to a question about the breakup with his uncle, he began talking about his love and devotion for his father. As he did so, his father, from 30 feet across the room, stepped through a crowd of men, boxing men in the room. And he moved to the sofa where he sat and embraced his son, and together the two of them sat in front of a dozen or more men, hugging each other, weeping openly, in a graphic demonstration of true, honest man love. That's the kind of person Miguel Cotto is. Now we come to our boxing expert, Emmanuel Stewart. Emmanuel, A lot of ringside experts see this as a pick-em fight or are even predicting the Cotty upset. A lot of the focus is on Cotty's boxing style. Why?
Clottey's boxing style is very much to Margarito's. Margarito, loaded gloves or not, he presented the style that created a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on Miguel Cotto. But Cotto does not clinch. He does, and I don't think he will learn how to clinch from the last fight until this fight. And as a result, Clottey's going to put a lot of pressure on him, hands up high, and forcing him to fight at a faster pace that he probably likes to fight at. Even though Miguel is a very balanced out fighter, he's going to have to use all of it tonight. And if he gets tired, he's going to have flashbacks of Margarito. This is a very tough fight for Miguel Cotto.
Tremendous incentive for Clottey, who's 35-2. The only 2 losses, a questionable disqualification against Carlos Valdemir, and a decision loss to Margarito, in which he was leading early in the fight before he says he hurt both of his hands. He is so eager for this matchup, and earlier, Max Kellerman spoke to him in his dressing room.
Joshua, what are you thinking about right now?
Well, the only thing I'm thinking now is getting to the ring and do my job.
And what's that job?
It's to win, of course, because I need this win badly, and I have to win.
Do you plan on reminding him of Margarito? Is that on your mind?
Well, I'm not thinking about that, but definitely that is reflecting his mind. But me, I know that that is the issue too. So the way I'm going to force him for him to fight, I don't know if it's going to be the similar position, the similar situation, but maybe it's going to be the same because I'm going to force him.
Meaning you're going to put pressure on him?
Exactly the point. I'll put pressure on him much, much harder.
He's known as a vicious body puncher, but you also do work to the body. Can you talk a little bit about your strategy more specifically?
Well, right now, I don't have a strategy right now because, I don't know how he's coming to fight. So I've learned the 2 things. Whether he's coming to fight, I'm ready to fight him. Whether he's going to move around, I'm ready to chase him and put pressure on him. So I'm ready for anything he brings.
This is your second fight on a big stage. The first was against Margarito. You came up a little short. What did you learn from that experience?
Well, fighting a big stage is a very, very tough thing in boxing, But what I take is like this. None of the boxers get this opportunity to fight in a big stage. So the only thing I do is I take care of everything they give me because the big stage is the fight that if you go in there, people respect you, people know this is Joshua Clottey. So I'm happy that I always be on a big stage.
Considering you're fighting in front of 20,000 rabid Cotto fans, do you think you need a knockout to win?
No, I don't need a knockout to win because we are in the same promotional banner. I'm Barbaron boxer, Cotto is Barbaron boxer, so we are in the same promoter. So if I win convincingly, they're not going to rob me.
Thanks, Joshua. Good luck.
2 of the sport's hardest guys in a fight which could become a cauldron of vicious body punching. Let's get ready. Tail of the tape. Miguel Cotto gives up or has a 3-year age advantage over Clottey. They're listed as equal in height here, but at the weigh-in, Cotto appeared to be the taller fighter. An arm length advantage of a ½ inch for Clottey, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Cotto was 1 pound under the 147-pound limit. Clottey right on it. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Miguel Cotto Joshua Clottey fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
Time now for fighter entrances before this lively crowd.
I'm Joshua Clottey. I've struggled a lot all over the world trying to become champion. I'm from Ghana, where there is nothing there, You have to come to America and fight the best before you're going to make something.
The heavier punches of Clottey starting to wear on Judah.
The biggest win of my career is that Judah, because, I'm moving forward now. The reason why I want to fight with Miguel Cotto is that Miguel Cotto is one of the best. And I'll do everything possible for me to win the fight for my country. I'm going to put a lot of pressure because that's the only way that I can get him.
Clottey letting his hands go.
I'm going to do everything I can to win because this is the fight of my life.
And now, coming to the ring, Joshua Clottey.
Max, if Joshua Clottey could emerge from the thicket of fighters in the welterweight division and be seen as the legitimate champion, he would almost certainly surpass Ike Quartey, a star of the 90s, and move up behind only Azuma Nelson as the second greatest fighter in his nation's history.
And a lot of that has to do with the quality of welterweights around right now. It's a golden era, one that we experienced in the early 80s, again in the late 90s, and it's happening again. Hall of Famers and all-stars everywhere you look in the division.
We do not get unofficial weights after the weigh-in here in New York, Emmanuel Stewart. But it was reported that 2 years ago, in a fight against Diego Corrales in this division, Clottey went from 147 at the weigh-in to 170 at the time of the fight. Might he be attempting to hydrate to a high weight tonight?
Being a big guy, he comes in at 160 often after winning it when he was at 140. So they both would probably come in big tonight.
And though some see this fight as an audition for a matchup against Manny Pacquiao, the biggest money fighter in the sport, Pacquiao's smaller size and the statistics we just cited regarding what happens when Clottey and Cotto come into the ring may ultimately prevent that. In his last fight against Michael Jennings, Miguel Cotto was given a title belt. He enters the ring second.
De Caguas, Puerto Rico, Boricua to the bone.
I am Miguel Cotto. No matter what things Joshua can bring me this night, I'm going to beat him.
Continued assault from the Puerto Rican star.
My past is behind me.
An epic fight with an epic conclusion. The first loss of Cotto's career.
I'm going to prove tonight. I'm still one of the biggest 147 pounds in the world.
We are live at ringside in Madison Square Garden. It is a crowd that will favor Miguel Cotto.
No, it's great because they make me feel like home. They give me a lot of strength, and that's the reason I'm always feel happy to be here.
They packed Madison Square Garden to the rafters, and what a show they got.
I'm back, and I'm ready to beat anyone in my division.
Y ahora Boricua, Miguel Ángel Cotto.
So you hear the crowd response for Cotto, equaled only by the love which has been shown here in the past for Felix Trinidad by the same crowd for the same reasons. Emmanuel Stewart, we heard Joshua Clottey say he thinks he can win a decision here. What do you think of that?
Well, both of these guys are really high-strung, emotional guys, much like Trinidad, and that's what makes great fights. And the crowd's excitement generates energy from the fighters. Yes, he could win a decision, but he's got to win very impressively because if it's a close fight, when Miguel Cotto puts combinations together, he does it in a flashy type style, which catches the imagination and the attention of the crowd and the judges. Where Clottey isn't that flashy when he does this, so he's got to win this fight very, very impressively.
Max, you heard Emmanuel Stewart's comment about the psychological challenge for Cotto of putting the ghost of Margarito behind him. Your thoughts about that?
Well, he's faced with a fighter who's seemingly impossible to hurt in Clottey, who's going to come at him like Margarito did. So his response, the boxing world, to that challenge, the boxing world eagerly anticipates. We'll find out in moments.
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mecca of sports and entertainment, Madison Square Garden, New York City, New York, USA, where tonight Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated is proud to present HBO World Championship Boxing, sponsored by Tecate Cerveza con Carácter and AT&T, sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairperson Melvina Lathan, and the World Boxing Organization President Francisco Paco Barcarcel. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout on the 10-point system: John McKay, Tom Miller, and Don Trella. And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action at the bell, Arthur Mercanti. And now, for the thousands in attendance here at Madison Square Garden and the millions watching around the world on HBO, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, officially weighing 147 pounds, professional record 35 victories, including 21 knockouts, only 2 defeats. By way of Accra, Ghana, the challenger, former IBF welterweight champion of the world, Joshua Grandmaster Clottey. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing red and gray, official weight 146 pounds, professional record 33 victories, including 27 knockouts with only 1 defeat. The 3-time world champion, the reigning, defending WBO welterweight champion of the world, Damas y Caballeros de Caguas, Puerto Rico, Miguel Angel Cotto.
Easy on that Vaseline.
Good evening, Josh. Miguel, you received the rules early in the night. Let's go toe-to-toe, touch gloves, and good luck to the both of you.
Miguel Cotto is favored. Many in boxing like the upset.
The referee is Arthur Mercanti Jr., his legendary father, Arthur Sr., watching at home tonight. Arthur, we miss you, and we love you. First round gets underway. Both men set up to box for the moment. Clottey has been known to dispense with the jab early in some of his fights in favor of simply going to the body. Tonight, he begins to operate behind the jab conventionally here in round 1. Cotto is extremely patient at the beginning of fights.
Yeah, but I think that's just going to be for a very short period of time tonight. There's too much emotions and too much energy in this building for this fight to be patient.
If you've followed Cotto over the years, you know that his 2 primary weapons are the brilliant left hook to the body and the straight right hand upstairs.
But both guys are exhibiting beautiful jabs tonight, which is very, very unusual. I thought that it would be more of a tight hook-type battle, but I'm seeing some wonderful jabs right between the gloves of the opponents.
Well,
from both of them.
Clottey may be using the jab more than previously because he thinks he has a length and reach advantage against Cotto.
Cotto flashed the jab against Mosley. He used timing to offset Mosley's speed, and also against Margarito, especially over the first half of the fight.
Timing exactly, Max. I think that Cotto reminds me of Marco Antonio Barrera at his peak in the sense that the jab never seems to come at exactly the moment when you expect it. Clottey trying to penetrate Cotto's tight guard. Cotto has been very selective in his punching here in the first round. One thing to watch with Clottey, does his punch count drop off?
So far, the only really clear decisive punch that I've saw has been Clottey's jab has been the most, to me, a significant punch so far in this fight.
Clottey blocking Cotto's body shots with his elbows. Great body punchers know how to block body punches. Cotto blocking Clottey's body shots with his arms. When we go to the corners, you'll be listening to interpreters. In Cotto's corner, Terry Olaya, interpreting a new trainer, Joe Santiago. And in Clottey's corner, Aforinore, and down goes Clottey at the end of round one, and Cotto has a vital point.
It looked like it was kind of a short left hook type jab.
Upstairs left hook.
And the only clean punch he landed in the round.
I think it was a left jab. I think it just caught him as though it was... He's a left-handed fighter, Cotto.
Well, thank God for replays. You won the first round. You won the first round. Let's brush it off. Brush this off. You won the round. Just brush this off, okay? Let your hands go. Let your hands go. Let your hands go. Let your hands go. That's what you got to go. Let your hands go. It's nothing. That was nothing. Forget about it. Forget about it. Here we see Cotto land, which was just that's a solid, powerful left jab, as I said, but it just caught it at the right time when his body was in a bad position, and it forced a knockdown.
Great call, Max. A knockdown on a jab. And again, the timing. It came at a moment when Clottey didn't expect it.
Guys, it was a knockdown of a granite-chinned opponent with a jab.
I think the body position at the time, too, we have to cause the knockdown. But nevertheless, that was the only clean punch that I saw for the most part from
In his big fights, and Max makes the point, in his big fights, Clottey hasn't even been buzzed, much less knocked down. So that's a tremendously important fight, or point for Cotto on the scorecards. You heard Clottey's trainer, Kwame Asante, telling him he had won the round. Well, not exactly.
When Clottey punches, you'll notice he kind of jumps up when he just said he punches very similar to the way that Cotto used to punch. All those guys from Ghana, they keep their hands up high, but when they start punches, they kind of raise their bodies up often when they punch.
Both fighters still operating behind very tight defenses. 1 minute into round two. Cotto stepping up the action just a little bit. Clottey reaching with the left hand to go to the body. Now, Clottey's going to dip that low to land his left hook to the body. There's going to be an opportunity for some right-hand counterpunches by Cotto.
Well, I tell you what, at this point, you know, Clottey still seems to be the better fighter at this point, but as I'm watching, I mean, take that knockdown away for the most part. It's still that Clottey has a better defense for the body punches, too.
But, Emmanuel, one thing to watch. In his big fights, Clottey has dipped as low as averaging only 40 punches thrown per round.
But he's landing clean, accurate punches when he does punch. I'm watching his punches are much more pinpoint. The biggest problem he has is when he punches, he obviously, as I said earlier, pulls his head up.
You see that better than most judges. Many judges respond mostly to punch count.
But Clottey is still, to me, he's a much more precision and accurate puncher in this fight.
Clottey is certainly landing the more obvious, accurate punches, head-snapping punches here early.
See, that's his biggest danger right there. As he comes in oftentimes, he pulls his head up, and his body is up in the air where he can easily get knocked down.
But as we've seen, Cotto is the heavier-handed puncher.
Definitely. There's no doubt about that. He's proven that. And he's also proven that he can come through adversity, and he had so many fights he's been hurt, cut, knocked down, out on his feet, and came back to win.
Down against Ricardo Torres, hurt and cut against Zab Judah. Wobbled by DeMarcus Corley, back at 140 pounds. Cotto has indeed stared down a fair amount of adversity. Monday night, it's the premiere of the HBO series Joe Buck Live. First on stage will be NFL Hall of Famer Michael Irvin and Pro Bowler Chad Ochocinco, as well as actor Paul Rudd. June 23 on the next Real Sports with Bryant Gumbel, Jim Brown, and Bill Russell. Two icons of American sports side by side. You may think you know their story, but you've never seen them like this. A 40-year friendship revealed.
Use the jab. Use the jab. It's very important. Use it. All right, he's opening up for that. If you stir up, keep moving. Light side to side. Side to side, side to side. Come on, Jordan. We're doing it very well. A little bit of water now.
CompuBox numbers in round two pretty close. Cotto 9 out of 62, a low connect percentage of 15%. That has to do with what Emmanuel said to you about Clottey doing so well at blocking the body punches. Clottey was 13 out of 54, a connect percentage of 24%. Cotto still leading on Harold Letterman's scorecard, despite having lost the second round there because of the knockdown in round one. Clottey gets to Cotto's ear with that left hook.
But the left jab of Clottey has been very effective going between Cotto's glove. Cotto fights in that pick and boost type style with his head moving forward, bent forward, and oftentimes Clottey's going right through the center with his jab. And the body punch that Clottey shoots is more effective. He shoots a hook on top to make Cotto take his right hand up, and then he shoots a left hook to the body. And it's been working so far. He hasn't did it that often, but when he does do it, it's been effective. Miguel's biggest chance at catching Clottey is when Clottey is coming forward and punching. The same way that Oscar De La Hoya knocked down Mike Cotto, because, as I said, when he throws his punches, he pulls his head up. And that's when Cotto has got to try to catch him when he's coming forward and punching.
Meanwhile, as Cotto's leaning forward, Clottey is starting to find the range with the left uppercut.
Yeah, he's working that left hand beautifully. He's working outside and up through the middle of that hole that everybody in boxing knows that Cotto has. Is easy to hit him with punches up between the guns.
One of the answers we already have in the wake of the Margarito loss for Cotto is that when presented with an aggressive opponent here in Clottey, Cotto is not simply giving up ground and running away. He's fighting back and at times backing up Clottey, although here we see him fight at the perimeter of the ring.
But Clottey's defense has been fantastic tonight. Outside of the knockdown, he's won, to me, every part of the fight for the most part, for accurate punches, except for that knockdown.
So what adjustment could Cotto make to penetrate that guard?
It's going to be very difficult. I see a rough night for Miguel. Yeah, I think that what he needs to do is to start, which he was doing himself. He had a pretty good jab, which he's totally abandoned earlier.
Cotto may have been thumbed in the eye.
Oh, no, it's cut from accident.
And there's the blood as Miguel Cotto has been cut over the left eye. He's no stranger to blood. He has a new cut man tonight. Former cut man Miguel Diaz was shifted aside in favor of Joe Chavez, who has never worked with Cotto before. So new trainer and new cut man in the Cotto corner.
The referee, Arthur McCanty, is
That's not a good cut.
Avoid going to the ropes, June. Avoid the ropes. Come on, work the other leg now, Joe.
Got right here, you can see where the butt occurred. As you see, they're coming together. They had a collision right there, and evidently out of the situation, Cotto got the worst of it, and the referee properly informed all of the judges that it was an accidental punch.
Good call by Arthur McCanty Jr. Emmanuel, you're as good at knowing this as anybody. What chance did Joe Chavez have with that cut?
I think he has a good chance, but I don't know what he's using over there. I don't like the way it's looking.
An eventful first 3 rounds. Cotto with a knockdown in round 1. Clottey has landed more punches and seems to have landed the more effective blows. Now Cotto cut on a headbutt at the end of round 3. Our Harold Letterman won the Sam Taub Award for broadcasting from the Boxing Writers of America last night, the highest honor available to a boxing broadcaster. Congratulations, Harold. How do you have it scored?
Okay, Jim, thank you very kindly. 2 rounds to 1. 29-27, Miguel Cotto. Jim, if the fight gets stopped due to that accidental headbutt before the 4th round ends, it's a no contest, it's a no decision. If we go beyond the 4th round, they go to the scorecards if the fight gets stopped because of that cut. Anyway, I thought Cotto won the 1st round, and he gets an extra point for the knockdown. He won the 3rd round because he outjabbed him, but Joshua Clottey won the 2nd. 2-1, Cotto.
Blood beginning to stream from Cotto's left eye again. Joe Chavez momentarily had it stopped, but now Clottey has gotten it going again by landing a right hand up there. More activity in the fight. Cotto seems to feel a sense of urgency, and Clottey will respond in kind.
And Cotto, feeling the urgency, targets the body of Joshua Clottey.
And Clottey comes back with a great left hook to the body and a terrific uppercut. Great combination by Clottey.
I like the way that Miguel is trying to fight back, showing the urgency, but tonight, this is Clottey's night, as far as I can see at this point, with or without the cut. And the cut doesn't help at all.
Good shot in the middle of that combination by Cotto.
Cotto's best chance of hurting Clottey, I said, is to catch Clottey when he's in it changes. But just going after him, being aggressive and being offensive, you're not going to hurt him. He's going to have to make Clottey punch with him and try to catch him when his head is up.
Cotto beginning to outdistance Clottey in punches thrown here in round number 4.
Yeah, but not landed.
Hard right hand by Clottey.
Cotto can't see the right hand coming.
No, and he's shooting the uppercuts between the gloves, too.
That's the first time somebody's held in the fight.
But for whatever reason, Clottey seems to show some kind of discomfort there for a moment.
Good combination by Cotto. And again, Max is right. He can't see the right hand coming, so he stepped away. Uppercut by Clottey, good left hook by Cotto. Crowd is trying to lift the spirits of the Puerto Rican fighter. And Mercanti follows Cotto all the way back to his corner to get a good look at the cut.
That's it. It's okay, Miguel. Breathe deeply through your nose.
Yeah, yes.
That's it, it's straight, there's nothing there.
Here we see right here, not just the cut that came from the beginning, but the accuracy of the punches and the variety of punches that Clottey is doing, which is making it so difficult for Cotto to get out of the way. He's coming up between the gloves, outside, and...
CompuBox numbers in round 4. Cotto 21 out of 77. Stepping up the punch count to try to create pressure. Clottey 20 out of 55. More accurate, as Emmanuel has pointed out. 15 of Cotto's connects were in the last minute of the round, and to Harold Letterman's eyes, they were good enough to win the round for him. So despite the fact that Emmanuel is telling us over and over that it looks like Clottey's night, Cotto has a 3-point lead on Harold Letterman's scorecard.
And given that, Cotto may feel he's up on the cards, and the severity of the cut, and the way the rules operate, where it's in Cotto's advantage, it's to his advantage to essentially quit. The fact that he's not is more testimony to the kind of fighter Cotto is. It's the reason he engenders the kind of passion he does in his fan base.
You know, he has never taken and gotten into the fact of criticizing Margarito with loaded gloves, with his hands.
Potentially,
he never has did that.
He's been as stand-up as stand-up could be about the Margarito thing. In fact, and Clottey painting Cotto with right hands here as the blood flows again from Cotto's left eye. In fact, Cotto himself acknowledged that no one from his camp went to Antonio Margarito's dressing room last July 25 to watch his hands being wrapped. And when given a chance to blame that on his estranged uncle, he wouldn't go there and said, nope, it was all our faults, mine included.
He's a very special athlete.
Hard right hand again by Clottey. Miguel Cotto in deep tonight. Blood streaming from above his left eye after an accidental headbutt in round 3.
No one wants to fight Joshua Clottey, let alone with a bad cut over his eye.
Good tackle by Cotto. Clottey came at him, went up onto Cotto's shoulder, and Miguel just put him down. And Clottey appears to be hurt.
Suck it up. What happened, your knee? Walk it on.
We've seen how Cotto's responded to this sort of thing. Let's see how Clottey responds.
Be like a champ. Get up and walk it off.
I don't know if you could call this a foul, Emmanuel. It's more on the order of all's fair in war.
I'm giving you some time. You try to walk it off. Be a man, be a champ now. Walk it off.
Now, theoretically, Joshua Clottey would get 5 minutes to recover from this.
You're a champ. I'll give you 5 minutes. You want 5 minutes? Hey, wash this out. I don't need you, Doc. I don't need you. No. Suck it up, kid. Let's keep it clean now. I know it was an accident. You slipped. Okay? That's a champion now. Ready? Timing!
You just watched a very good referee at work. What a pedigree he has. He has great experience too. And now Clottey comes back to fight again. Let's see how that knee affects him.
Well, now both guys may have a handicap. One may have a sore knee and one has a bad cut.
Break! Step back. Watch the elbow now. Come on now.
If Clottey cannot drive forward on that left foot, it could take some of the mustard off his right hand. That would be a tremendous break for Miguel Cotto.
You know, the fact, the way that Clottey fights, which doesn't require a lot of footwork anyway, well, I think it won't be as damaging as it would have been with a fighter that danced around a lot.
Don't wait for him. Don't wait for him. Keep your right hand up. Keep your right hand up. When he comes in, he's drawing his back. He's trying to pull your hands down. Keep your hand right up. Make your right hand very tight. Keep it really, really, really tight. Keep it tight. Wow, Clottey is saying his feet is hurting. His knee is hurting badly. Knee is hurting very badly. You want to continue?
Here we can see which caused the throwdown, so to say. It is really hard to, look like he purposely threw him down. But, in the anger and aggression and knowing that he was behind on points, I could easily understand.
You know, I don't think he
Maybe
threw him
just
down,
aggressive.
Emmanuel.
Maybe just his aggression.
I think he's just trying to shove him off.
Yeah, I think he just shed him. You know, he shed him from his body, and Clottey fell in an awkward way. I mean, I don't know if I'm giving Cotto too much of an apology there, but it didn't look to me like he had any intention of throwing him to the canvas.
No, I agree with you.
He wanted him off his shoulder.
He was very anxious to try to get over the fight. Good, he's had on points, and I think he was just trying to get rid of him so he could get back to trying to mount his attack that he had doing for much of the time.
Technically, it was a much better round for Clottey, who landed twice as many punches as Cotto by CompuBox count. And Cotto lowered his punch count from 77 back down to 57. But you heard between rounds, as Clottey told his corner, that he is in pain from the left knee injury. Low blow by Clottey. First one of the fight. Canty just watches and notes it. Left hook and a straight right hand by Cotto. He seems to be gaining a little confidence now. Clottey is much less mobile than before. Cotto's trapping him against the ropes.
Well, we saw what Cotto has did in these situations in the past. He's probably a master dealing with disasters.
Crowd comes alive. Clottey trapped in the corner. Good left hand inside by Clottey. Cotto is undeterred. Cotto's not going to let him out of the trap. Many of these punches are being blocked, but the aggression is catching the eyes of the crowd and the judges.
Well, Cotto needs to just try to catch Clottey, try and exchange with him right in that position with a left hook while he's exchanging.
Good straight right hand upstairs by Cotto. Got it through the guard. Clottey's right hand is losing steam. Excellent uppercut by Cotto. Clottey tries to come back with a big right hand.
And you see Cotto put him right back in the ropes where he kept it right in the corner.
This is brilliant tactics by Miguel Cotto. This is ring generalship as he has trapped Clottey in the corner for nearly a full minute here. Now finally he gives him some space. And then drives him back again. Caught Clottey on the chin.
If Clottey stays over there, he's going to be in trouble. But sooner or later, Miguel is too much of a power puncher. He's going to start penetrating even through that tight defense.
Suddenly, the Miguel Cotto of old has emerged against an immobilized Joshua Clottey.
Both these guys have excuses to quit, and they're both fighting.
Hard right hand by Clottey.
And boy, are they fighting.
But Clottey's legs are hurt. He has to go right back to the ropes again.
What a chin Cotto has. Tremendous round for Cotto.
He's getting the point where he's going to get tired. He's going to get tired. He's going to get it tired. Be fast. Be fast. When you're hitting, cover yourself up. Cover yourself up. Don't wait for him. Don't wait for him. He's doing beautiful. Good.
Here we see Cotto has Clottey cornered in the corner. And, you know, dealing with these type situations, we've saw in the past that Cotto can deal with this. I don't know if Clottey can still survive this next round fighting that same way. We know that Cotto can do it.
CompuBox numbers in 6. Miguel Cotto, 95 punches thrown, 35 landed. Clottey did reasonably well at 23 out of 59. But 30 of Cotto's landed punches were power shots. And he did as much damage as he could when he trapped Clottey against the ropes for more than half of the round. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 58, 55, 4 rounds to 2. Miguel Cotto. Jim, I tell you something. I maintain that they have to stop painting those canvases right before the fight. When you get a freshly painted canvas, it's like ice. It's like just walking on ice. And that's what happened to Joshua Clottey. It got wet on a Takane sign in Cotto's corner. His feet came out from under him, and he went down, and it just about cost him the fight.
That right uppercut that Clottey shot right between the gloves of Cotto was one of the most effective punches in the entire fight tonight.
And you saw Miguel Cotto pawing at his eye with his left glove.
Well, they saw how effective that Zab Judah was with punching up through the middle.
I mean, the constant shifts in momentum here.
What a seesaw fight. Clottey seems to be getting some foot movement back.
Yeah, he's making Miguel back up, and Miguel is not the best fighter backing up all the time, especially with a guy like this.
But
he needs to try to force physically and push Clottey back to the ropes. As I said this earlier, catch it when he's coming in punching.
Hard right hand by Clottey. He's still got advantages in there, but he seems to have lost some of the confidence that he had in the first couple of rounds.
But those punches are hurting Miguel, and especially that right uppercut, which is a punch he's really got to watch out for.
And here are the moments where we really see shades of Margarito, and we'll see what kind of a lasting psychological effect it's had on Cotto.
Yeah, it's when Miguel is the one with his back against the ropes, and Clottey is stalking him, that you have the mirror of what happened in the Margarito fight. What a seesaw fight, because the fourth round was all Cotto. The fifth round was Clottey's. The sixth round was all Cotto. The seventh round belongs to Clottey so far.
He's giving Cotto a beating in this round.
Hard right hand against that cut eye. One-sided round in favor of Clottey after he seemed in trouble in the last round.
And that's what Miguel has got to do. He's just got to be playing an animal at this stage of the fight.
Cotto is holding his left glove against his eye as he goes back to the corner, trying to stop the bleeding himself. June 27, it's a big night of boxing programming here on HBO. First, the premiere of Floyd Mayweather Juan Manuel Marquez 24/7. Another edition of our Emmy Award-winning documentary-style series following both men as they prepare for the July 18 showdown. After 24/7, it's live boxing. Up-and-coming star Victor Ortiz faces tough Marcos Maidana. Also a rematch of the stirring February 28 fight between Chris John and Rocky Juarez. It ended in a draw in Houston.
Here you see Clottey landing a beautiful straight right hand, which just was typical how he dominated the round with accurate pinpoint punches for the most part. And still, Cotto has not been able to get his rhythm again with any clean, accurate punches for the most part.
Cotto landed 30 power shots in the sixth round. He landed only 8 in the seventh. Clottey landed 18, doubling him. Once again, Clottey closes in on the Letterman scorecard. Round 8 of a scheduled 12. Last year in Cotto's life has been tumultuous. This fight has been tumultuous. Just like the Zab Judah fight was 2 years ago.
Go there. The one thing I can say about Cotto, he is one of the true warriors that I've ever saw in boxing. I mean, all the way until this fight ends, he's going to be in this fight.
With good little shots on the inside from Clottey.
Now Clottey against the ropes and Cotto in the attacking position again. But Clottey flurries off the ropes and goes back to the center of the ring. I don't know when I've seen a fighter as badly bothered by a cut in the ring as Cotto is tonight.
Very similar, like you say, it reminds you a lot of the Margarito fight at this stage.
Well, there aren't so many fighters who continue to fight with cuts like that.
Well, and just as was the case against Judah 2 years ago here, Cotto is swallowing a lot of blood, in addition to the blood that's blocking his vision.
And you can still see that Clottey is having a problem with that right rear leg right there. That's why he doesn't do too much and loses his balance off.
Oh,
Miguel Cotto can't see any right hands coming.
And they're really turning his head around.
And the uppercut is going to do more damage than that if he shoots uppercut under the knee.
And I think doctors are going to have to seriously consider stopping the fight to preserve Cotto's left eye.
I think you're right.
Another right hand by Clottey, and again Cotto puts his glove up to try to stanch the bleeding. Cotto needs to land a couple of big shots and get the crowd back into the fight. That might raise his energy level again. This is looking hauntingly like the Margarito affair at this moment. Hard right hand by Clottey. Cotto trying to find space in the ring to stay away from that right hand. Remember, that cut was caused by an accidental butt. This is what will bring the crowd back, whether he landed him or not.
Get your men! Get all your guys!
They should seriously consider possibly stopping this fight.
It almost doesn't matter what Clottey does with his left hand. At this moment, he appears to be in position to possibly win the fight on right hand punching.
Huh? Yeah. A little bit. Come on, Johnny.
Nice job.
Once again, you can see what I've been saying earlier. Even though Miguel has been throwing a lot of punches, most of his punches are blocked for the most part by Clottey. And that's why you see Clottey comes back and shakes his head, goes, his defense has been extremely, extremely good. And he's relaxed when Cotto is throwing those punches also.
CompuBox numbers in the last two rounds show Clottey with a 41-18 edge in power shots. Overwhelming majority of those 41 punches coming with the right hand. Again, just to belabor the point, Cotto can't see out of his left eye.
Joe Santiago in Cotto's corner should be thinking about making the argument that the fight should be stopped on the cut, because Cotto maybe has won enough rounds to escape without a loss at this point.
But it's going to get worse as the fight goes on.
Exactly. Say, he can't afford to lose any more rounds if that's going to be the gambit.
His best chance of winning the team at this stage would be to go to the scorecards.
And the question is, without an experienced chief second in the corner, is this now becoming a disadvantage for Cotto in this fight?
Emmanuel, many times in past fights, Miguel Cotto has switched southpaw, and sometimes with startlingly positive effects. If he were to switch to southpaw here, the bad eye would now be not the lead eye. Should he try it?
He should try it. I mean, there's nothing working at this stage. He's got nothing to lose, as I'm concerned, because he's getting caught with those right hands. And, you know, it looked like he would try to take advantage of the leg problem that Clottey is supposed to have, but it doesn't seem like he's having that problem right now by boxing and making him move. But I don't know if Cotto has that energy to do that himself, and to just box and try to make Clottey use his legs.
I have a hunch that at the end of this round, when we look at Harold Letterman's scorecard, we are going to see an even card with 3 rounds to go in the fight.
I've been here, Clottey hit him.
All the momentum belongs to Clottey.
I can't see how you're not denying that Miguel could be ahead on the scorecard. I know Harold may have it, but to me, outside of that knockdown in the first round, I've said this has been, for the most part, a Joshua Clottey fight.
Well, not rounds 4 and 6, Emmanuel. They were very one-sided for Cotto. And there's a knockdown in round 1. And we're only in round 9. So it's still reasonably close, one way or the other. Cotto trying to rally down the stretch here in the night. Clottey goes after him again with the right hand.
Watch those heads. Let go of the head.
Big shot here for either guy. Could steal the round.
Yeah, you know, this Cotto's still in this fight. I thought after the cut problem he was having before, but he's still in this fight.
All right, it's a good show, man. You'll come back 100%. You're back 100%. Don't wait for him and let him hit him. Don't wait for him. I want you to move away from his body movements. Just slide away. When you start moving, slide away and keep the right hands up. Keep the right hands up. You're doing great. Keep it up. Don't wait for him. The left up.
Nice job.
A little bit more. Junior, when you have him on the ropes, don't let him go. Come on, use that uppercut that we practice. What about that? Use that uppercut a little bit when he's up against the ropes.
Seconds out.
3 rounds to go. County box numbers in that round were fairly even. Clottey 18 out of 53, Cotto 14 out of 63. Harold, how do you have it through now?
Look at him, just like you called it. I got it all even. 85-85 in rounds, 5 rounds to 4. Joshua Clottey, because he won 3 rounds in a row, 7, 8, and 9. But that knockdown, that extra point in round 1 is looming large in the scoring in this fight. So in the all-important points category, I've got it all even, 85-85. In rounds, we got it 5-4, Joshua Clottey.
If Miguel Cotto were able to legitimately win this fight, it would be the greatest victory of his career.
I was just thinking the same thing, Max. I mean, the courage that he's shown in this fight, the punishment he's taken, and hasn't went down, and still just looking to try to win this fight. He hasn't given up.
And let me say that if the fight goes the distance, as most experts predicted from the beginning that it would, the panel of 3 judges which will score the fight is not exactly a who's who of judging in the sport, which is not to say they're not good, not to say they don't know what they're doing. It's just that this is not exactly Jerry Ross and Dwayne Ford and Dave Moretti. It's guys whose names you may not know all that well. Clottey seems to have slowed a bit here in the 10th. No longer strafing Cotto with right hands, though the opportunity would still seem to be there.
You're right.
Cotto switches southpaw now here momentarily.
But you got to remember also, between the two of them, Cotto still is a bigger puncher between them. Clottey's, I think, a better technical fighter. And the fact that, Cotto is still trying and winning, and you never know what can happen when he lands a punch, because he's a bigger puncher. And that's the one thing, a puncher can always get himself back into a fight with just one single blow.
Cotto is moving effectively to get away from Clottey's punches. He blocked the left hook a moment ago. He's trying to hunt and peck his way through the 10th round. Now Clottey comes alive. Courageous performance by both fighters. Clottey appeared at one moment headed out of the fight with a left knee injury. He's recovered and is doing fine. Cotto still struggling to deal with that massive cut over the left eye caused by an accidental headbutt in round 3.
There you go. That's the shot. You need to do that more often.
That's what De La Hoya did against Cortez.
Yeah, you've got to catch him in exchanges.
Interesting to see if the big left hook won the round for Cotto.
Take his mouthpiece out. Hey.
It's dry now. It'll dry out. I got it under control.
Straighten up his legs.
Is this stopping your performance or not? No.
We got to win these rounds. We got to win these 2 rounds. Come on, press him.
Okay.
Press him, press him. Deep breathe. Breathe deeply.
Don't wait for him. Keep the left, let the hand go. Keep the hand going.
The 10th was a slow round.
The left should be going. Keep it going. Don't wait for him at all.
Slow round for both fighters. Clottey throwing only 50 punches and Cotto throwing only 44. Clottey connected far more, but Cotto landed that big left hook in the closing seconds of the round, which may have enticed judges to give it to him. Now there's Vaseline hanging like a waterfall off of Miguel Cotto's left eyelid, and I'm amazed that Mercanti hasn't made him take it off, and now it falls off onto the canvas. Good left hook again by Cotto.
He's got to get Clottey when he's punching and make him exchange with him and try to catch him with his head over to the left hook.
Clottey, not particularly a knockout puncher, has never had a knockout past the 10th round. Cotto has had 11th round knockouts. Stoppage against Octave Urcal a couple of years ago.
What Clottey's doing is very smart. By showing Cotto that Cotto's punches don't affect him, he reminds Cotto of Margarito.
Only Margarito was a busier fighter.
I wonder if, given everything Cotto has been through tonight, the Margarito thing is now ancient history for him.
To me, I would say so. I mean, he's fighting a great fight considering how sharp and accurate Clottey is, and fighting with a handicap from such an early part of the fight. I mean, a severe cut that has never stopped bleeding.
If Cotto finishes the fight on his feet, I think we can say he's put the ghost of Margarito to bed.
If he does it, I think he's did it already, for as I'm concerned.
Good right hands for both fighters in that exchange.
There you go. He's got to keep catching him with a hook right there while he's exchanging. Being offensive, he's never going to hit Clottey with punches. See that? Clottey's preparing for those. He's got to pull him in, bend over, and try to catch him in with a hard left hook while he's throwing punches.
Emmanuel, is he getting lucky, or has he made the right tactical adjustment?
Well, I think he has no choice really for the most part. Clottey's putting a lot of pressure on him. But I think everything he does should be a counter punch. He should not be trying to be aggressive in anything.
Tell you what, everything Miguel Cotto has learned since leaving the Sydney Olympics in 2000, in 8 years as a professional fighter, he has brought to bear in this enterprise to get through 11 rounds with Joshua Clottey under these circumstances is extraordinary.
And because Clottey manned up when he went down and could have quit with a leg injury, we have a great fight on our hands.
Max Kellerman playing in pain with a voice that is threatening to go away, but hanging in. So Clottey hangs in with the bad knee. Cotto hangs in through the cut. Kellerman hangs in with laryngitis. What a night in the Garden.
Last round. You're following the round. You're following him. You're not throwing any punches. You're following. Cut the ring off. You could cut the ring off him. Just don't follow him around. This is the last round. This is the last round. Let's go. Let's go.
We've got to win this round. We've got to win this round, Stallion. We've got to win it. Got to win the round, Jonathan. Let's go. Let's go. We can do it, damn it. We can do it. We got to push him back. Come on. We got to push him back. Keep him on his back foot.
Well, by CompuBox count, the 11th round was dead even. Cotto 19 out of 54. Clottey 19 out of 47. I sneaked a peek, and I can tell you that Harold Letterman scored it for Clottey, which means high drama in the Garden on Harold's scorecard, because we're even going to the 12th. Fight on the table. Which man wants it more? And incidentally, at the beginning of the evening, I asked Emmanuel Stewart whether Joshua Clottey could win a decision against Miguel Cotto in Madison Square Garden, and now that question looms larger than ever.
Yep.
wonder if Clottey is throwing enough punches to make it stick. There's tape hanging from Joshua's right glove. If Mercanti sees it, he has to wait for a lull in the action to try to fix it.
Cotto's won the first minute of the round, guys. There are 2 minutes left.
And here comes Mercanti with the scissors.
Let's go.
Blood streaming down Cotto's face as he tries to muster 2 more minutes of courage. Two little uppercuts inside for Cotto a moment ago. Clottey just not throwing.
No, and this round could be won by Cotto because his body movement, his rhythm, his low combinations, whether they land or not, is much more catching and flashier than Clottey, just plodding forward.
And whatever happens, there's going to be a beef from Clottey if he doesn't win because he looks like the winner.
Miguel Cotto accidentally hit Joshua Clottey in the back of the head. It's the first time it's happened.
You know, it seems like he's kind of a little, maybe I shouldn't say this, a little overreacting, especially when you consider all of the pain and misery that, you know, Cotto has been going through the whole fight. And maybe I shouldn't say that, but it seems like he's overreacted to particularly that situation.
And Arthur Mercanti Jr. is not letting Clottey use it as an excuse.
No, he turned his back. He accidentally, which is nothing purposely.
Now he's warning Cotto to keep his punches up. But as Clottey showed you in the Judah fight 2 years ago, or excuse me, as Mercanti showed you in the Judah fight 2 years ago, he is not a referee who is quick to penalize. He gives the fighter the benefit of the doubt. Good left hook. Unquestionably, Cotto leads in the round because Clottey hasn't thrown enough. 30 seconds to go. Now Clottey begins to try to unload.
All right, break. Work, let's go, work.
5 punches from Cotto, none from Clottey.
He's won this round.
One more big left hand by Cotto. A right hand on the chin, but is it enough? Bell sounds. And the two fighters momentarily embrace. Clottey wants to celebrate in the center of the ring.
Clottey may have been the better fighter tonight. Cotto maybe the better man.
Great statement, Max.
It was a wild fight. Let's take a look back at how eventful it was. Round number 1, closing seconds. After Clottey seemed to have won the round, Cotto landed that jab which knocked down the seemingly knocked down proof Ghanaian fighter. Third round, accidental headbutt, opening a huge cut over the left eye of Miguel Cotto. A cut which would affect his vision and his ability to stop Clottey's right hand for the rest of the fight. Round 5, in a corner. Clottey finds himself up on Cotto's shoulder, and as Cotto shreds him, Clottey falls to the canvas in an awkward position and twists his left knee. For the next 2 rounds, there was a question as to whether Clottey could continue. But they made it to the 12th round, where Cotto turned to throw a left hook. Clottey was momentarily turned away from him, holding Cotto's right arm between his arm and his body, and Mercanti issued no penalty for the accidental foul. And now, 3 judges with a difficult decision, and let's show you who they are. John McHale from New York, 3 title fights in his background. Had Cotto ahead of Judah in the 11th round by 6 points. That was probably too wide a score. Tom Miller, 33 title fights out of Ohio. A 1-point decision for Pacquiao in the second Marquez fight. And that was the margin of victory in the fight for Pacquiao. Don Trella of Connecticut, 7 title fights. Notable fight, Cotto over Malignaggi, 115-112, which was pretty much the consensus score. Harold, your final score.
You know, Jim, I thought Miguel Cotto won it on that left jab to the jaw in the first round. 6 rounds apiece, but in points, 114, 113, Miguel Cotto. He gets the extra point for the knockdown in round 1, and that's the difference in the fight. 3 big rounds in a row for Clottey, make it real close, 7, 8, and 9, but Cotto's still on top by 1 single point in a very, very close fight.
Joshua Clottey regards himself as Mr. Hard Luck in the welterweight division. Lost to Carlos Valdemir on a questionable late disqualification on a headbutt that may or may not have been intentional. Lost to Antonio Margarito in a fight in which he was leading early and then faded when he says both of his hands were hurt. Those were his only 2 losses. He's never been dominated. He wasn't dominated tonight, but he may conceivably wind up on the short end of another disappointing decision.
And if he does, there'll be an outcry, because from the point of view of someone watching the fight and not scoring it round by round, and maybe from the point of view of many who did score round by round, Clottey appeared the winner.
And it seems to be taking an unusually long period of time for the scores to be tabulated.
It's Cotto who's cut and bloodied. It's Cotto who was forced to retreat. It's Cotto who looked like the fight was slipping away from.
But he came back to win the last round on all of those conditions, which is amazing. The first round and the last round.
And now Michael Buffer is ready to end the suspense and tell us if there's a winner in the fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, we go to the scorecards. Don Trella scores the fight 116-111 for Cotto. John McKay scores the bout. Pardon me, Tom Miller scores the bout 114-113 for Clottey. John McKay has it 115-112 to the winner by split decision from Caguas, Puerto Rico. Still WBO welterweight champion of the world, Miguel Angel Cotto.
Get exactly the crowd response you would expect in a city with 800,000 citizens of Puerto Rican background. And I asked you that question at the beginning of the night, Emmanuel, because I personally was skeptical as to whether Clottey could win a decision here. I don't think you can call this in any way a questionable decision, because either man could have won the fight.
Yeah, I would say there was a questionable decision. I mean, you couldn't really complain badly. Clottey had a chance to step it up a little bit. In the last couple of rounds, seemed like he gave a little bit, and that was a big difference. Because anytime you fight under these conditions, as you said, big pro Puerto Rican crowd, you have a knockdown officially scored against you the first round, and then you lose the last round. I mean, you're putting yourself in jeopardy.
Max, can you talk?
Let me complain about the decision. You might say Cotto won the fight, but you may not say he won it 116-111. You may not say that the last round didn't even matter.
I totally agree. 116-11 was questionable. Final CompuBox numbers, and you see that Clottey wound up landing 43 more punches, throwing 101 less. So he connects at a higher percentage and has more landed punches, which usually computes to a decision victory. However, Punch Zone will show you that the body puncher, Joshua Clottey, did not land as often as might have been expected to Cotto's body. Perhaps because of Cotto's cut, which invited the right hand from Clottey, Clottey winds up landing most of his punches, 112, on the face of Miguel Cotto. Cotto, on the other hand, does get to Clottey's body and also mixes in his attack upstairs. So that's the way it all played out. And now I am joined live at ringside by the winner of the fight, courageous Miguel Cotto. Miguel, after everything you went through last year against Antonio Margarito and 2 years ago here against Zab Judah, you might not have expected to be in another fight that would so test your courage and your will. How did you make it through with the terrible cut over your eye?
No, I just try to keep my fight, keep my pace, my plan of fighting, and forget about the cut. And that's what I do, and I'm with the fight.
What was your thinking going to the last couple of rounds as you seemed exhausted, he seemed exhausted, and the fight was close?
But I just try to keep fighting, and forget about the blood, run into my eye, and just try to fight and try to make my people here proud.
My colleagues, Max Kellerman and Emmanuel Stewart, agreed in the 11th round that if you were to go on and win this fight, it would be seen as the greatest victory of your career. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I just train hard for this fight, train hard for Cotto. I know he's a great fighter, he's a great warrior, but one of both have to win. It was me this night.
You had a new cut man, Joe Chavez. What kind of a job did he do for you?
He did a great job, you know. He stopped the blood. It's no way to stop complete the blood with a cut like this one, but he made his best effort.
Do you have a specific urge now to look for a fight with Manny Pacquiao, or are you simply going to look for whatever is the best fight next?
But just thinking the idea to rest a little bit was 9 weeks of hard work, intensive training. I just want to rest a little bit, and then we can talk with the company.
Courageous show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Now we turn to the hardest luck man in the welterweight division, Joshua Clottey. Joshua, I know you came in here feeling as though you've never really been beaten or dominated, and those two losses were both the product of bad fortune. I'm sure you're going to say that that was the case once again tonight.
You know, I don't expect this decision. I don't expect that. You know, I fought my heart out. I know I'm winning. I'm the active guy. I'm chasing him. He is running. And I'm blocking the punches. I'm throwing punches. So what else again I have to do to win the fight?
So in other words, you're sure you won?
Yeah, I won the fight. You know, as soon as the decision was kept long, I know that something's going to happen. I want a rematch.
Interestingly, to me, Joshua, you had an enormous advantage because of the cut over his eye, and it appeared to us that he couldn't see your right hand coming. But you didn't throw many punches in the 11th and 12th. Why not?
Yeah, because, you know, not like I don't throw punches. You know, Cotto is a tough fighter. He's an experienced fighter. I have to take my time. You know, he's throwing one shot at a time. So I have to be careful when I'm coming in. So not like I'm not throwing punches, but I know whatever he's throwing to me, I'm blocking. And everything that he's throwing, nothing going inside. So I don't deserve that decision.
You told me yesterday that you thought you could win a decision against Miguel Cotto in front of this crowd in New York City. You still think that?
The reason why he said that, because, you know, if it comes to a close decision, they're going to rob me. So I thank you for saying that. Now I respect what you say.
Thank you, Joshua. Best of luck to you in the future. Max Kellerman, your final thoughts on a really amazing evening.
Clottey is a very good fighter, among the best in this loaded welterweight division. It was a very bad decision, not because Cotto won necessarily, but because of the 116-111 scorecard. Let me say this. Cotto once again overcomes adversity, once again shows vulnerability that makes him even more compelling to watch than if he were just a dominant fighter. And maybe because of that vulnerability, he now has a better chance than ever to land a mega fight with either Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather Jr.
It'd be interesting to see that. I have a hunch that he might be too big to get a chance to fight Pacquiao, but that'll be up to Freddie Roach and Bob Arum and those who control Pacquiao's career. Your thoughts about what Cotto was able to do tonight and what it means to his future in the sport?
Well, just the way that he fought with that blood and the way he was hurt so badly in the country. I mean, I thought on my scorecard I had Clottey winning. Okay, but I fell in love with him emotionally. I mean, with Cotto for just doing what he did under those conditions. And so I'm not going to complain at all. Just for him to just even finish the fight was a major victory. And then to win the last 2 rounds, I mean, it got my heart. So I gave him a couple of rounds, a switch I gave him to him that I gave to Clottey just on that alone.
It's a confrontational sport. It's about humanity and human qualities. Max Kellerman had a great line late in the fight.
when he said it's an evening on which you might think that Clottey is the better fighter, but Cotto will emerge as the better man. Ultimately, Cotto gets this decision whether you agree with it or not because of his human qualities, his fortitude, his strength, his honesty with himself, his ability to keep going through the toughest of circumstances. Meanwhile, July 18, this summer, we're looking forward to a great showdown between the returning, formerly retired, #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport, Floyd Mayweather, and Juan Manuel Marquez, who in Mayweather's absence has risen to rank as the #2 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport behind Manny Pacquiao. And we're going to set you up for this pay-per-view extravaganza with yet another edition of our award-winning series, 24/7. Let's take a look.
My name is Floyd. My name is Money Mayweather.
Well, let's get one thing right while we are on 24/7. 24/7 is a show that I invented. A black man from the ghetto invented 24/7. Believe that, just like that. You dig?
Never at a loss for controversial opinions, Floyd Mayweather gave a first-hand look into training camp before his 2 epic showdowns in 2007.
I'm at the top. When I'm at the top, I ain't trying to look at who's behind me. I'm leading the way.
With equal discipline, the undefeated champion provoked opponents as aptly as he prepared for them.
The face of 24/7 is Floyd Mayweather. This is Mr. HBO himself, PPV. Money Making Mayweather. And we gonna make some more of that money, some more of that moolah, July 18.
On July 18, Mayweather will face off against a true warrior, a champion in 3 weight divisions, Juan Manuel Marquez, training in his hometown of Mexico City for the biggest fight of his career.
Y yo creo que es la pelea más importante de mi carrera. Más importante de mi carrera porque estoy peleando con el mejor peleador libra por libra en un peso que no es mío, pero en un peso que voy a subir fuerte y que voy a intentar ganar.
For 4 weeks, the Romanza Gym will serve as Marquez's home base in the heart of the bustling metropolis as he ventures beyond the urban landscape to perform his more unorthodox training techniques.
Para tener ese tipo de entrenamiento, ese tipo de fuerza, tienes que, desde que te levantas, tienes que prepararte mentalmente para decir, tengo que entrenar duro.
Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, Mayweather keeps the close counsel of family. He's trained by his Uncle Roger, but a familiar face has joined camp, Floyd Mayweather Sr., as father and son attempt to reconcile an often estranged relationship.
Oh, my dad gonna get some, I mean, Roger's my trainer, and Roger's gonna get what he deserves, but my dad's gonna get some money too. It's my father. I mean, you know, they both showed me the game.
Whatever, I don't have to train my son. I don't have to train my son. I don't care about the training my son. I need a relationship with my son.
After a year-long retirement, Mayweather returns with a predictably rust-proof bravado.
Been boxing so long, he can do half that shit with his eyes closed. Half the stuff he do with his eyes open, he can do them with his eyes closed because that's why he's been around boxing all his life. And I'm just bullshitting. You can't hold shit.
We're still in the hurt business, but I personally don't think fighters say anything because if they lose, people won't be so harsh on them. Me, I'm like, fuck it. It is what it is. You come to get me, come get it. It ain't gonna be easy, baby. You know it. It ain't gonna be easy. 24/7, 24/7, 24/7. We're getting that cash. We're getting that cash.
And, of course, we'll throw money at you to buy the pay-per-view on July 2nd, or on July 18. But first, the premiere of Mayweather Marquez 24/7, Saturday, June 27, 9:30 p.m. Eastern and Pacific time, and then repeated installments up to fight time on July 18, live from Las Vegas. Mayweather returning after 19 months out of the ring to fight Marquez, who's been red hot in the interim. A moment now to honor our colleagues Larry Merchant and Emmanuel Stewart, who are in upstate New York today at Canastota. What did I say, Emmanuel Stewart? Emmanuel Stewart's former fighter, Lennox Lewis. Emmanuel was the trainer. Lennox Lewis, former heavyweight champion of the world, and our expert commentator on the Boxing After Dark series. And Larry Merchant, of course, who's been with HBO Sports for more than 30 years. We're both inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, New York,
It's a signal honor for both. We're extremely proud of them. And thanks very much, Lennox and Larry, for everything you've done over the years for us. Meanwhile, it was a great night here again in Madison Square Garden. Fourth time in 6 years that Miguel Cotto has headlined a card in Madison Square Garden. The night before the Puerto Rican Day Parade has become a staple on the New York sports calendar, and we'll look forward to seeing this continue as Cotto's boxing career goes forward. Mark your calendars for these upcoming shows. Monday night, it's the premiere of the HBO series Joe Buck Live, headlining the debut episode. NFL Hall of Famer Michael Irvin, Pro Bowler Chad Ochocinco, and actor Paul Rudd. June 23, Real Sports looks at an innovative program which uses scuba diving at Guantanamo Bay as therapy for injured American war veterans. June 27, it's the premiere of Mayweather Juan Manuel Marquez 24/7, followed by Live Boxing. Victor Ortiz. If you haven't seen him, you must. One of the hottest young prospects in the sport against Marcos Maidana and Frisk John in a rematch against Rocky Juarez. Their first fight ended in a draw. July 18, it's the live HBO pay-per-view fight between comebacking Floyd Mayweather and Juan Manuel Marquez. And August 12th, it's the premiere of Hard Knocks, training camp with the Cincinnati Bengals, 5 weeks of behind-the-scenes looks at this once proud franchise attempting to rebuild. If you missed any part of tonight's show, you can catch it again on HBO tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. or Monday night at 11:45 p.m. on HBO 2. The fight replays Sunday at 5:15 p.m. and Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Next on HBO, don't miss The Dark Knight. Don't miss The Dark Knight. And now for our entire HBO crew, I'm Jim Lampley, saying so long from Madison Square Garden in New York City.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.